1. So I worked at a big chain retail company for some time. Gotta pay tuition, you know? The entire chain is currently upgrading both the interior and exterior of, I think, all the stores in the world. And since my specific store is in a very small county, we started much later than the other stores. The work was already started when I began working there, though. For whatever reason, the store manager could not seem to find good builders. And the weeks before I started working there had been awful for the store. Why? Because the workers apparently weren't educated enough to manage to keep the power on for more than 30 minutes continuously. Mind you, we of course have full electronic payment systems, and not even the registers could be opened without electricity. Every time the power got cut, we had to call the electricity company, who took at least 10 minutes to come and additional time to fix the problem. Plus, the register systems themselves took about 15 to 20 minutes to start up every time. This meant a great loss in funds, since we lost so many customers over the course of many weeks. When I got there, the power had not been fixed whatsoever, so it still cut out regularly. And my poor manager, who is so nice, and our colleagues had to call the electricity company many times during each workday, and they got increasingly frustrated with how the builders handled things. They were slobs with pretty much everything they did, not just the electricity. It's the only time I've ever seen my manager angry. They bothered the customers by making extremely loud noises, and yes, of course, there will be noise when a store is rebuilding, but they did nothing to lower the volume, which they apparently could have easily done. Their equipment sent out fumes that made people dizzy. They drilled holes in the ceiling that cracked it up so much that debris started falling down, thankfully not on customers, etc., etc. So when a certain very angry customer came to me with a complaint, I was not surprised. I was standing alone at the register, and my only other colleague that worked that shift was in the back, where the loading dock was. In comes this very tall guy. Mind you, I'm also very tall, but this dude was towering over me. His face was almost purple with anger, and he comes up to me. He starts telling the story of how we, the employees, apparently hadn't checked if the nails had been completely hammered down in the wood in a handmade speed bump outside the store that was right nearby the loading dock. In fact, he wondered if they'd even tried to hammer them down. He had driven over them with his many-wheeled cargo truck, and said that if we had punctured his wheels, he would make us pay. After he had finished yelling, I, very carefully, because I actually thought he was going to hit me, said that it was not us who had a hand in those things, but rather the builders, who did nothing right. But they had gone for the day. He did not calm down, and I was very scared, so I told him to come with me to the back where my male colleague was, so I'd have a witness if he actually did something. We went to him, and I told him what happened. He said the same thing as me, that the builders were responsible. The guy went away and said something along the lines of, "If I find a puncture, I will have you pay for it." I got back out to the register, and after about an hour the power cuts off again. The electricity company is called, and they come and try to sort things out. They took an unusually long time to fix it, but I didn't think too much of it since there were no customers there at the time. The power comes back on after about 40 minutes and I start everything up again. Then my colleague comes out from the back and asks me, "Hey, did you hear what happened?" Usually what makes us lose power is when too many machines are connected to the power supply, and sometimes the builders run over cables with their portable elevator, so they pop out of the wall. And since the workers had gone for the day and couldn't have moved anything, I figured that their equipment, still running, had blown a fuse like it usually did. Or maybe it had burned out the entire electrical cabinet they had in the room they worked in, 'cause that would have taken some time to fix. Boy oh boy was I wrong. My colleague goes on to tell me that the angry trucker was the culprit. This dude has snuck up to the side of our store building and pulled out every single one of the hundreds of power cables that were connected to the fuse boxes. I did not believe my ears. The electrician was so fast to fix it too, he deserves some kind of award. Also, if I remember correctly, it was actually a Saturday, so he wasn't even supposed to come into work at all. I talked to my manager about it the next day, and she basically said that the trucker was not very smart, because if his wheels were damaged now, he would not win a claim for the money because he committed a crime. I didn't hear what happened after this, but I think it never got cleared up. 2. A little intro. I've been working in a clothing retailer for a few months now, 8 or 9, and my role is to support the shop floors whenever some extra staff is needed, which in the last few months has been the ladies section. So I've been all over that section, getting to know where everything is, so much that when a colleague needs to find something they usually ask me. Now on to the story. During the day which this story takes place in, I was in the denim section to cover a guy that was ill. In this section, as you might imagine, we had jeans, denim jackets, and denim dresses. I was going around making sure all the displays looked good and folding jeans. Why can't people fold a pair of jeans instead of throwing it after they've taken a look? It's beyond my understanding. But oh well, when a lady in her early 50s calls for my attention. I stopped folding and the conversation went as follows. Yes, how can I help you? Hello, excuse me, I was looking for some navy blue trousers. Well, we have some jeans in that color right behind me. Do you want me to show them to you? Oh no, I wasn't looking for jeans, I wanted some trousers. I see. In that case, you'll need to go over there in the formal section. We keep all our trousers over there. I point in the direction of that section. No, they're not there. They were here last time. I was a bit confused at this point, as the section we were in had been the denim section for as long as I can remember. Even before I started to work there, that was its location, so I try again. If you want, I can go there with you and look for the trousers, as I'm quite sure we don't have them in here. No, they should be here. They were here when I bought them, you see? She pointed at her trousers. That looked just like the one she was looking for. Excuse me, could you tell me when you did buy them? 3 years ago, I bought them in this same store. They were right here. At this point, all my confusion was quickly replaced by, are you fucking serious? But of course I couldn't tell her that. Ah, I see. In that case, I think you should have a look in the formal section. We tend to move things quite often, and we only have jeans in here now. The lady was now starting to get annoyed, so she just left me there and continued browsing the denim section, of course, without finding what she wanted. I swear, I will never understand why she asked me if she didn't want my help. I mean, yeah, I look quite young. A supervisor even asked me if I was overage once. But I work in there. I would know where things are. And who the hell expects to find something in the exact same place after 3 years? And the best part, the encounter had made me curious, so later that day I went to the formal section, and there they were in all their glory, navy blue trousers. It took me like 1 minute to find them. If only she had listened. Thank you very much for listening to my little rant. Hope you enjoyed the story and wish you a great day. 3. A brief background. I'm Middle Eastern, who lives in the United Arab Emirates, in the capital of Abu Dhabi. I'm a local, but I don't look it as my mother is from Egypt, and I would get mistaken for other nationalities often. On to the story. My niece got a new pet about a month ago from one of her friends, a 5-month-old German Shepherd, and she's the cutest thing ever in my opinion. Unfortunately, the friend didn't bring enough food for the puppy, so I went the next day to the hypermarket nearby to buy some for her. I was told she liked a particular brand, so I decided to go inside without a cart or basket to see if they had it, then go back out for a cart. On my way to the pet food aisle, I heard shouting and yelling from close by, and out of curiosity, I went to check it out. I saw one of the workers and a wild Karen. While she didn't look like a Karen, she sure as hell acted like one, screaming at the poor guy about how incompetent and rude he is, and ignoring her when she was trying to get his attention. And of course, she was yelling for a manager. This is when she turned around and locked eyes with me and made a beeline to where I was. Now keep in mind the worker's uniform is a yellow or light blue shirt with the hypermarket name on it in big letters, and the managers wear full suits. I was wearing black jeans and a dark blue shirt. Also, a majority of the staff were either from India or the Philippines. Now for the cast: OL, obnoxious lady; PW, poor worker; M, manager; me, yours truly.
You, manager, this employee of yours was very rude to me. He ignored me when I was trying to get his attention for 10 minutes and is refusing to help me and yelled at me. I want him fired.
The first thought that came to mind was to tell her that I didn't work there. But after seeing the condition PW was in, I decided to have some fun. Now, my English has a good American accent, but I also have a fairly decent Indian accent, So, without hesitation, I switched my accent to Indian mode. I am so sorry, madam. We've had many complaints about this problem worker. Don't worry, I will discipline him. As a form of apology, please go about your shopping and at the cashier, just give them my name, Roger Patel, and tell them I approved a 40% discount on the total sum for you.
At least management knows how to treat paying customers.
I went to PW, grabbed his arm and started walking away, berating him along the way until we made a turn and we were out of sight of OL. That's when PW said, "Am I in trouble?" It seems PW was new and also mistook me for a manager, and he thought he was going to be fired. Poor guy. I'm not a manager, and you're not in trouble. I just wanted to get you away from her. And I walked away waving goodbye at him. I grabbed a cart and went to buy my puppy her chow, and some other things for her, some toys, a new collar, a leash, a comfy bed, and some other items for myself. After I grabbed what I needed, I made my way to the cashier. That's when I heard a familiar screaming and yelling, and sure enough, there was OL, arguing with one of the cashiers and an actual manager, trying to convince them that she was allowed a huge discount on all her items, a full cart's worth, while I was laughing on the inside. Then she spotted me, pointed at me and yelled, "That's him! That's Roger Patel, the manager who approved my discount." The manager and cashier both looked at me with confusion in their eyes, and the manager said, "Ma'am, this gentleman doesn't work here."
"Yes, he does. Why else would he give me the discount? He was even disciplining one of your workers."
M and OL made their way to me, and I acted like I didn't know what was going on. M says, pointing at OL, "Excuse me, sir, do you know this lady?" No, I've never seen this woman before."
"You're lying. I talked to you about that lazy, rude worker of yours, and you gave me the discount as an apology."
"Lady, do I look like I work here? I'm a customer, just like you." It was at that moment PW walked by. OL pointed at him and said,
"There, that's the worker that I complained about to this manager."
M called PW over and asked him, "Have you seen this gentleman or lady before?" PW looked at me and OL. "No, sir, I haven't."
"Don't lie. I was talking to you 30 minutes ago when you refused to help me."
"Ma'am, this is the first time I'm seeing you or this gentleman. Maybe you have me confused with another worker." M nodded and told PW to go back to his work. And as PW walked away, he looked at me with a smile and a thumbs up, which no one saw. OL was fuming with a face that was redder than a ripe tomato. I turned to M. "Sir, you're obviously wearing a suit like all the other managers working here, and I'm wearing casual. Who in their right mind would confuse a customer with a worker or manager?" M nodded in agreement. "Sorry to disturb you, sir. Have a nice day." I nodded back, paid for my items, and walked away, with OL still screaming and cussing until M ended up calling security to escort her out of the building. And I went home with the puppy chow, the rest of her stuff, and the biggest grin on my face. 4. I work at a grocery store with online pickups where people pick up their groceries for free, no charges at all. Well, on this fateful day I was working the closing shift. We were horribly understaffed, so I was working alone. We still have a few orders that haven't been picked yet for 8 to 10, and it was already 7 p.m. when 3 customers came in at the same time. We have a first-come, first-served basis, so whoever calls our department for pickup first gets their order first. It usually takes 3 to 10 minutes to load each customer, unless the system goes down and we have to manually scan each and every item, which takes forever. I also tell customers when there are people ahead of them, so they know when they're going to expect a few minutes of wait. So I start loading these 3 customers in order. Lady 1 was thankful for me loading her groceries into her trunk without having to get out. No problems at all. Mind you, it only took me 4 minutes to load her. Now I start loading Lady number 2's groceries. I got to her car and she comes out. You can immediately see that she was in a bad mood. No worries, we all have our bad days, right?
"Why did it take you so long to load my groceries?"
I apologize, but I cannot get to everyone immediately. Lady 1 called first, so she got her groceries first. Plus, I'm working alone right now.
"Alright, just load mine quick. I have to tuck my kids in soon."
Reasonable enough. Let's say it took me between 7 to 10 minutes loading hers since it was a huge load. She thanked me and drove off. Now I start loading Lady number 3's order. She also had a huge order, so it took me a couple of minutes to get to her. As I get her order out of our department store, I see her stomping towards me. She was angry, I know she was, but I really wasn't expecting it. I was tired. I've been working since 12 p.m., and I had to rush my lunch and not take any 15-minute breaks, at least until the end of my shift where everything slows down. I wasn't able to say anything back until she took a deep breath after a few minutes of her rant. "Miss, I'm really sorry about the wait, but I had to load other customers ahead of you, and I'm currently alone."
"Well, maybe you should schedule more people then."
"I can't do that, miss. I'm not the department manager, and I don't decide who works when."
"I don't care. I'm expecting a full refund for this. You and your department are incapable of accommodating your customers' needs."
A full refund of $600 worth of groceries with no pickup fees? For 15 minutes of her time. I can't issue you a full refund. I can get you a $10 voucher for the inconvenience, but a full refund is impossible. As I said earlier, I was working alone.
"You should find another job if you can't load all of us under 5 minutes. And if you won't issue a full refund, I'll take this to the head manager and I'm getting you fired."
I just stood there, shocked. I wasn't able to respond at all.
"Now put all my groceries into the back of the car. You've wasted too much of my time already. I hope they fire you."
She went to the back of her car and I just loaded her as fast as I could, because I just don't want to deal with this anymore. After she drove off, I sent an email to our department manager regarding this, and they sent her a $25 voucher because customers are always right. Maybe I really should find another job. 5. I work at a big office supply store, usually on the floor doing logistics and stock. But this particular day, 2 cashiers called in, and I was stuck at the front register for the day. This was on a particularly busy day. I had 4 customers in line, and the person who was my backup was busy helping a customer with a printer. I have 2 customers left in line when the mail guy comes. I'm about to sign off for a couple packages. He leaves, but he stops me and says, "These don't need signing, I can tell you're busy," and walks out. A few minutes later, a middle-aged couple walks into the store, looks down at the packages left by the mailman, and kicks them. Twice. "Oh, hi. Can I help you find something?"
"Yes, we want boxes like these for mailing smaller things."
"Of course. Those are in aisle 15.
"Oh, you have them for customers, like just to take?"
"We sell them, if that's what you mean. You take them when you pay for them."
"Oh, well, what about boxes you get things delivered in? Do you not give them to customers when you empty them out? Could you maybe empty these out and we can have these boxes? Or the boxes you get stock delivered in?"
"Sorry, unfortunately it has to be my manager to open the mail, and he's busy right now. And we don't get stock delivered in cardboard boxes, we get them in plastic bins that we send back and reuse. When we do get cardboard boxes, we put them right in the baler so they don't take up space in our receiving area."
"That's ridiculous. Can I go back there and take a look at the baler? In case they haven't crushed them today."
"You want to go in our receiving area?"
"Yes, I want to see if you have boxes back there."
"I'm sorry, sir, I can't let you back there for multiple legal reasons. But as I mentioned, we have boxes that size for about $2 in aisle 15.
"Okay, fine, we'll go take a look."
They walk away muttering about how little help I am, and how it's a frickin' box, why can't they just give it away? Why do we have to pay for a box? About 5 minutes later, the husband comes back up to the front on his own. When he thinks I'm not looking, he goes around the register that's furthest from mine, and starts looking at a box that we use to hold recyclable ink cartridges. "Sir, I cannot have you looking around back here, and especially not touching ink cartridges that could explode on you." As I'm saying this, I look to the back of the store and see that the wife is sticking her head through the doors that lead to the receiving area. It was like telling kids not to do something, only to have them go and try to do that exact thing. So at this point, I grab my mic and talk loudly into it, enough for the husband and customers in line to hear it. "I have 2 customers going into employee-only areas, after I already asked them not to. One is up front behind the register, and another is in the back near receiving." The husband turned bright red and shuffled out from behind the register to collect his wife from the back of the store. They both stormed out of the store, but not before trying to grab boxes that we have at the entrance for customers that come in to recycle old printers and other such things. They gave up when they realized the boxes are glued to each other, and walked out of the store like scorned puppies. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, number 65. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. I really hope the accents in story number 3 were authentic enough. I don't expect them to be 100% accurate, but I was trying to keep them as serious as I possibly could. Okay, where are we now? We are... Okay, we're in the second week of October. Yikes. Well, I'll have to think about Halloween soon. I want to do something, I just don't know what. I'll have to make sure... When is Halloween? End of the month, so I've got a few weeks before then. I've got a glitch video to do this week, so we'll get that done, dusted out of the way. And then I can think about what I'm doing for Halloween. I might not do a 10 days thing, I might just try and clear out a day or two so I can sit down and record and edit a specific story. Possibly something by Edgar Allan Poe. I want to say The Pit and the Pendulum, but I'm going to have to see what the length is. I'm going to have to check out a few other things as well. We'll see. We'll see what I can come up with. Okay, and with that I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.